Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance. Guardians, we've reached the final chapter of our Balance of Power event analysis. In Part 1, we broke down Defiant Edge. In Part 2, we moved into Unbroken Bond. And throughout both videos, there was one reason we deliberately refused to give you a final verdict on the complete event. We were still missing the final piece. Gear and glory. And now it's time to put that piece into place. Because gear and glory works differently from the previous two events. Instead of introducing another huge collection of independent progression tasks, it directly connects back to what you've already been doing throughout Defiant Edge and Unbroken Bond. And that means some of the most interesting rewards of the week are sitting behind your progression across those previous events. But Guardians, before we begin, there's something important we need to establish. You're going to see rewards today that many players will want. Peech equipment. Her mystical skin. Her second talisman. And naturally, one of the biggest questions becomes: how far should you go to get them? This is where Olympus Alliance has a very clear position. We can show you the requirements. We can analyze the tasks. We can explain exactly where the rewards come from. We can show you the numbers and the data. And we can advise you about the value of resources. But we will never tell you how much money you should spend. And we will never tell you that you must spend important resources like emeralds just to reach a particular reward. Because that's your account. Your resources. Your budget. And your decision. Our job is to give you the information necessary to make that decision for yourself. With that understood, let's look at gear and glory. We begin with day after day. This is once again the simplest progression track. Logging into the game throughout the event provides event coins, artifact chests, rune stones, and brawl tokens. There is no resource decision involved here. You log in, progress the task and collect the available rewards. Then we arrive at something much more interesting. The Defiant Edge objective inside gear and glory. And this is where the structure of balance of power becomes very clear. Instead of asking you to complete a completely new activity, gear and glory tracks the number of quests you've completed inside Defiant Edge. As that number increases, another progression track opens here. The rewards include event coins, Peech'S soul stones, Peech artifact weapon fragments, adventure energy, season pass points, adventure coins, rune stones, red gear fragments, artifact chest keys and a shop certificate. But there is one particular milestone that immediately catches the eye. At 290 completed tasks, we find Peech'S red gear gloves recipe. And this is exactly where we need to separate information from recommendation. Yes, we can tell you that the gloves are there. Yes, we can tell you that reaching 290 task completions is the requirement. But look at what Defiant Edge contains. Some progression can come from normal gameplay and resources. Other progression can involve VIP points, emeralds or resources that may be extremely valuable to your account. So we are not going to calculate a route and then tell every guardian, spend this many emeralds. Buy this. Complete that VIP milestone. And you'll get the gloves. Technically, we could calculate paths toward the reward. But that doesn't mean we should tell you to follow them. Because the moment real money or major account resources enter the equation, there is no universal answer. For one player, pushing toward 290 might fit comfortably inside what they were already planning to do. For another player, reaching that number could require resources they absolutely do not want to spend. same reward. Completely different decision. And that decision belongs to you. Our responsibility is simply to make sure you understand what sits behind it. Then we move to the Unbroken Bond objective. And the exact same principle applies. Every qualifying quest completed through Unbroken Bond contributes toward this progression track inside Gear and Glory. And again, we have several different rewards along the way. Event coins. Peech soul stones. Peech artifact weapon fragments. Adventure energy. Season pass points. Adventure coins. Rune stones. Red gear fragments. Artifact chest keys. But then we reach two rewards that are going to attract considerably more attention. Peech'S mystical skin. And Peech'S second talisman. With health and critical hit chance. And Guardians, if you've been following our Peech weekend, you already understand why that second talisman deserves attention. Critical hit chance is particularly relevant to Peech'S offensive development, and we've already been analyzing what happens when her different systems begin coming together. But once again, seeing an attractive reward does not automatically answer whether you should spend whatever is necessary to reach it. We can explain exactly where the talisman is. We can explain what it provides. We can analyze its importance for Peech. What we cannot do is decide what your emeralds or your money are worth to you. That's a line we don't cross. If your normal progression already brings you close to one of these milestones, you can look at the remaining requirements and make your decision. If reaching it requires considerably more investment, you make the same calculation based on your own account and your own comfort level. There is no shame in stopping. There is no obligation to complete an event. And there is no universal milestone that every account must reach. Now, there is one area where our recommendation can be much more straightforward. The event shop. When you're deciding how to use the event currency you've already obtained, our priority remains the same. Relics. Relics are the first place we look. They're a major progression system, they're directly connected to hero development, and when relic shards are available through an event shop, those are the rewards we prioritize before looking at the secondary options. After that, what you choose depends much more heavily on the needs of your individual account. And this difference is important. Advising you how we evaluate currency you've already earned is one thing. Telling you to spend money or burn through emeralds to obtain more of that currency is something completely different. That distinction is part of how we analyze events here. So after 3 videos, what is our final verdict on balance of power? Guardians? We're deliberately not going to label it as amazing. We're not going to label it as terrible. We're not going to tell you that every free-to-play player should love it, or that every spender should chase everything. Because an event like this doesn't produce the same experience for every account. What we can say is what the data shows us. Balance of power is structured across 3 connected parts. Defiant Edge provides one set of objectives. Unbroken Bond provides another. And Gear and Glory takes progression from those 2 events and attaches additional rewards to the number of tasks you've completed. That structure creates multiple layers of progression. How valuable those layers are to you depends on how naturally you can reach them and what resources are required to go further. And that's the information we want you to leave this series understanding. Don't ask only, what is the final reward? Ask, what does reaching that reward require from my account? If Peech'S gloves require you to push further, calculate what that means for you. If you're looking at her mystical skin, understand what sits between your current progression and that milestone. If you're targeting her second talisman, look at the complete requirement before deciding what you're prepared to invest. And if that path involves VIP points or significant emerald spending, the final decision is yours, not ours. We analyze. We test. We explain. We give you the data. And whenever possible, we give you our recommendations based on that data. But we will never take control of your account decisions. Because there is a huge difference between helping a guardian make an informed choice and making that choice for them. And with that, our complete balance of power analysis comes to an end. Defiant Edge, Unbroken Bond, and finally, Gear and Glory. Now you have the complete picture. You know how the three events connect? You know where some of Peech'S most important rewards are located. And you know the questions you should be asking before deciding how far you want to progress. Now we want to hear from you. Where did you stop? Did your normal progression take you far enough to reach the reward you wanted? Are you targeting Peech'S gloves? Her mystical skin? Her second talisman? Or are you simply collecting what comes naturally, and protecting your resources for whatever Dominion brings next? Tell us in the comments. Because different accounts will make different decisions. And that's exactly the discussion we want to see. This is Olympus Alliance. Stay tuned. Stay sharp. And as always, salute and friendship.